Hey guys, this is Dylan once again, and it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning, but I don't even care. This is what I promised you guys. This is the award ceremony for the Boundary Series Season 4. It was a wild season. It was a long and dragged out season as well, and honestly, it is great to be finally done and all that. And I apologize if the picture is cut off a little bit, but whatever. You can still see the main part of the original logo, even though I already told you guys I'm switching to a newer logo. But I came up with these 11 categories that I want you guys to do, or for you guys to vote on for the award ceremony. So I'm going to put in the description the rules, but I'll also go ahead and tell you guys what to do. What I want you guys to do is, for these 11 categories, vote for one. And I don't want you to comment below. Do not comment below. I will delete your votes, so don't waste your time so everybody can see it. I want you to personal message me your votes, and I'll keep this up for a few days, and I will tally it up and let you guys know the results from the award ceremony. But just again, read the description below and it will explain everything to you. So anyway, we're going to move on and start with the categories. The first category is Driver of the Year. Now, I base this off of consistency for majority of the season. Yes, some drivers made the chase, but they weren't that good. Some of them got into wild cards and stuff, but I'm going basically mainly on who I thought was most consistent most of the season. And the choices are your champion James McLeod, Sean Hindley, who was up there in points pretty much all season, Trent Dunham. He's up there because this is the first season he's made the chase and he didn't finish below 30th, so Trent really made a turnaround season. Seth Cole had his ups and downs, but he mainly stayed in the top 10 all season long. And Steven Gonzalez, even though he ended up 11th in the final standings, he was up in the top 5 basically all season in points. And he's one of the more consistent drivers. So those 5 drivers right there, James McLeod, Sean Hindley, Trent Dunham, Seth Cole, and Steven Gonzalez, are nominees for Driver of the Year for Season 4. Next category we got is Rivalry of the Year. I had a problem with this one big time, because there might have been some more rivalries that I knew of, but I cannot remember them. And there were some that were involved in drivers not in the series anymore, and I did not want to include anything with those drivers. If they're not in the series anymore, there's no point in putting them in the award ceremony. That's kind of dumb, like Connor Breeden. But anyway, basically this is all I could do, and this basically was all within the last 2 races of the season, but it was just kind of a throw-in. There's only 3 choices. I picked Trent Dunham versus Zohar Mudden. Brothers get into it at Homestead. Zohar turned Trent, took him out of contention for the championship, so I thought that might have been huge. And then the season finale, James McLeod versus Jessica Miller. James was blocking Miller for about a lap, and they caused a big wreck. And then the final one was James McLeod versus the field at Homestead. He basically wrecked half the field by himself. So I thought that was pretty interesting, so I put that in there, but I'm not really crazy about this category. I had more rivalries last season, like Trent Dunham versus Ralph Green and stuff like that. I mean, I had other ones, but this season just really wasn't rivalry based. Kind of surprising, just random drivers got into each other and all that. But I just picked out key ones I thought that were important maybe. But I'm pretty sure I know who's going to win that one. But anyway, that was your nominees for Rivalry of the Year. We're going to move on to the next one, and it is Breakout Driver of the Year. Now, this award goes to the drivers that I believe impressed me. I didn't expect them to do that crazy good, or they kind of passed the expectations of maybe what they should have done. And some of these drivers are rookies, some of them are not. But I just solely based it on how they did this season. Actually, this one's more just came out of nowhere kind of stuff. But Trent Dunham, Seth Cole, Danny Wells, Zach Carlson, and Aaron Williams are the nominees for this one. Like I said, just some of these drivers that more than guaranteed to run well ended up having some good runs. I know Trent had his win at Bristol, made the chase. Seth won the Daytona 500, made the chase. Danny won a couple races late in the season, made the chase barely because he won at Richmond. Kind of pulled a James Qualls from last season, or now season 3. Zach Carlson had his couple wins and just missed out on the chase, but ran well during the chase. He actually was the highest non-chaser at the end of the season. He ended up 13th in points by a long shot. He was way up there. And then Aaron Williams came in with those wild card wins and kind of stole the show at the end and got second in points. So those were, I thought, were the Breakout Driver of the Year nominees. And now we move on to the next category, Finish of the Year. Now, I had to look at these. I went back and looked at a few races. This is actually kind of hard to pick. A lot of people were really excited with the Ford 400 finish, the last race of the season at Homestead. That probably is a shoe-in probably. That was definitely going to be in the nominees. The Quicken Loans 400 at Michigan, I'll explain each one real quick. Ford 400 at Homestead was where Dougie Shears and Zach Carlson were battling for the lead. Jack Richards got wrecked by James McLeod, got turned over by Adrian Becker, and that's when Dougie Shears went trying to avoid, and Zach Carlson hit his car, the 14, and they were trying to come back on the track and get back up to speed. Tim Freilich and Liam Ervig were trying to catch up, and then James McLeod blocked Emilio Navarre and Tim Freilich, and Liam Ervig slipped by and won the race on the last lap. All that happened on the white flag lap, so that's what happened there. Michigan, Quicken Loans 400, it was a pack racing going for the win. Jack Richards had the win in the bag, got held up behind James Qualls, held up 2 lanes. Ryan Juke came out of nowhere and edged out Jack Richards and Danny Wells to win there and stole that victory. The Samsung Mobile 500, another deal, except Eric Burden. They were 3 wide for the lead. Eric Burden, Dylan Young, and Steven Gonzalez. Back straightaway, Randy Carpenter blocked 2 of them, and Eric Burden drove off with the win in his debut race. The Good Sam Roadside Assistance 500 was the Talladega race in the chase. Came down between Ryan Juke, Aaron Reed, James McLeod, basically, and Ryan Juke held on. So both his wins made the categories for this, or nominees, so pretty special for him. And then the Hollywood Casino 400 was one of the better races overall. And James McLeod ended up passing his former car, driven by Sean Galligan at the time, the 83. He passed his old ride and picked up his second win of the season at Kansas after starting in the back, I think 36th. So that was a pretty intense race as well. But those are the nominees for Finish of the Year. The next category is Comeback of the Year. This goes completely, strictly based on how bad these drivers did one season ago. Okay, James McLeod finished last in points in Season 3, finishes first in Season 4. So that's pretty big, coming back after basically doing horrible, worse than anybody last season. Trent Dunham, Comeback of the Year for him because basically his first 3 seasons have been all mediocre and down the points. He's won a race each season, but he's been 30th or worse in each of them. Until this season where he finished in the top 10 in points, which was huge for Trent, made the chase for the first time. Ryan Acosta and Jake Rogers' old ride that won the championship a couple seasons back completely came out of nowhere and just quietly under the radar made the chase. He's always quiet. He ended up finishing, I think, in the top 5 in points. He did not pick a win up, but he didn't do hardly anything when he drove the 20 a couple seasons ago. So Ryan Acosta definitely deserves to be in the Comeback of the Year, even though he's still Mr. Quiet about everything. Tim Freilich, no, he drove the 31 he drove it a season ago. Aaron Williams ended up making that car and going second in the points, but Tim Freilich had absolutely no luck in that car. He jumped over to the 36. I know he did not make the chase, but he did pick up 2 wins during the chase and actually finished, I think, within the top 20 in points. So Freilich definitely had a turnaround season. And then Matthew Rodriguez was basically down at the bottom of the points last season, and he ended up winning the exact same race again this season at Martinsville in the chase. So I gave the award to him. I had his brother in it instead, but Jacob actually didn't do much better than he did last season, so there's no point in having him in it. So Matt Rod will be in this category as well for Comeback of the Year. For these 5 are the nominees for that. Next category is Crash of the Year. Now, this easily could have gone a different way, and I could easily probably change it any time, but I'm just going by what I saw when I looked back and tried to pick wrecks out, because I got a good point brought up to me by Steven Gonzalez. I should save clips of the bad wrecks next season so I know what to pick between, and was kind of a hard decision to make, but these are the 5 I ended up going picking between as the nominees. 2 of them were in the same race as well. Mike Becker and Eric Burden's hard crash in the Pocono 400. They hit the wall where it angled, and they bounced back. I think Eric Burden's car got stuck, I think hit the wall and got stuck, and then Mike Becker's car sling back across the track, or maybe it was Becker, I don't remember. Becker, I think, was the one that hit the wall and slung back on the track and flipped over. Burden just stuck in the wall, and then Steve Gonzalez and Barney Ward a couple laps later did the exact same thing, except Gonzalez went side first into the wall and got stuck, and then Barney Ward slung across the track, driver side first into the outside wall. So both wrecks were pretty intense. The pileup in Atlanta, the Avocare 500, I saw about 3 or 4 cars flip, and a Charles Jackson flying through the air like E.T. And there was a pretty big pileup on the back straightaway early in that race, so I put that in there. Matt Wells, he pulled a Kyle Busch at the Coke 0400 at Daytona. He got hit from Barney Ward from behind, who was playing the role of Casey Kane, and jacked him up. Whatever way you want to put that, but whatever. Sent his car on 2 wheels for a long time, and it ended up being, I think, on the Breed News a long time ago. That was like the opening video, but I'm not going to talk about that. But this, I think a lot of people know what wreck I'm talking about when they compare, or when you put those together. But Matt Wells' wreck was pretty spectacular. And then I went with the final wreck of the season, Jack Richards' race-altering flip, I wanted to say, at the season finale. It was a big deal because that wreck ended up costing, or changing the outcome of the race, I guess you could say. And it was a pretty spectacular wreck as well, because he was just sitting there on the track and got hit in the driver's side by Adrian Becker. Just sent him flying and flipping, and it ended up changing the outcome of that race. And Liam Ervig could thank that wreck for getting him his first win. And that was the Category 4 crash of the year. Okay, this is funny. The part-timer of the year sounds like an old man or something driving or something like that, but part-timer of the year goes to those drivers that did not race the full schedule, but made an effort to do what they could and make a name for himself in the series. And these were basically the only 5 drivers that were actually eligible for this, because I had 3 other ones, but they only made 7 starts, and I'm not going to put them in there. Emilio Navarrete came in, missed the first couple races and replaced Sasha Dawson. Had a string of top 10s to start his career. Kind of cooled off, but I mean, he had a pretty good run in that one car. Sean Galligan, a fan favorite, known around by everybody, drove the 83. He had his good runs as well. Had a couple shots at winning, especially at Bristol, I believe. And Galligan finished out the season in the 83 after it had 5 different drivers this season. One did not make it to the track, by the way, and one only made 1 start, but the 83 car was pretty bad luck. It won't be back next season just because of that. Liam Ervig, he's in it because he had a struggling season, but he did win at Homestead. That could help him out in this award race, but he actually is the only one on this list that has a win since he won at Homestead, so that might help him. Cody Lamas is on there, but he had a terrible season. He tried what he could in that 56 car, but he's also a nominee. And Dougie Shears, who ended up losing that race, he found a couple of ways to lose races this season, especially Homestead and Watkins Glen, a couple others, but Dougie had his good share of good runs, but he also had his bad races as well. But those are your nominees for part-timer of the year. Sounds pretty bad. Sounds like a disease. Okay, upset of the year is the these are the races with an upset winner, or like an upset situation, something like that. But here's what they are. Here's the nominees. Eric Burden winning in his debut race at Texas. That was way back, like race 7. And we already talked about that. Liam Ervig still in the win at Homestead after that wild last lap. Jessica Miller winning in the chase at Texas. I guess that Texas is a race for first-time winners, I believe. Looks like that's how it goes. I remember Zohar Munn did that a few years. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself now with this. A few seasons ago he did that as well, so Texas is one of those tracks, I guess, for first-time winners to win. I put Tim Freilich down for his 2 chase races he won. He won both his races this season in the chase, which is impressive as can be. He won at New Hampshire and Charlotte, and then Ryan Juke getting the win handed to him at Michigan. James Qualls, we already talked about, held up the field, and Ryan Juke out of nowhere, just comes out of nowhere and upsets Jack Richards and Danny Wells and everybody else and picks up the win at Michigan for his first win. And those are the nominees for upset of the year. Unlucky driver of the year. This was a late decision on my part to put this in here, and well, these drivers basically you never want to bet on. They were always in the wrong place at the wrong time and never ran well, hardly. But it gives them an opportunity to win an award, even though it's not in the best circumstances. But the unlucky driver of the year nominees are Matt Wells, who finished last among full-time drivers in points, and had about 15 DNFs, I believe. Not the success like his brother had. Randy Carpenter had his share of bad luck. He's also in this category. Michael Kazi, who cannot find any luck anymore, driving that 19 car. He was involved in a million wrecks this season. Barney Ward found a way to lose every race he could. He had a chance to win Homestead. He did win at Phoenix way back race 2, but he found a way to get in each wreck, it seemed like. Couldn't stay away from trouble or could not get another victory. And then Cody Lamas had basically the worst luck out of probably all of them, maybe, besides Matt Wells. Cody Lamas was part-timer, but he kind of was in every wreck, it seemed like, or everything. He probably did not want to bring up Talladega in the chase. He was leading and blew up leading. Coming to the line, I think, was 2 to go. So Cody really hadn't had any luck either. But those are your nominees for Unlucky Driver of the Year. Okay, this is the second to last one, so I know I'm kind of dragging on. Rookie of the Year. Okay, Rookie of the Year. This category, even though I already did Aaron Williams, won Rookie of the Year. This is going to be basically based on what you guys think, like who you think was the top Rookie of the Year, performance-wise, even if it wasn't the highest in points. And these 5 did make the chase, so I went along with that. Sean Henley, Aaron Williams, Seth Cole, Danny Wells, and Eric Burden. Each driver did win a race. They all had their ups and downs during the chase. But ultimately, this is an opinion-based situation, who you think was the Rookie of the Year between these 5. So these are the nominees for Rookie of the Year. And the final category, Race of the Year. We go with the Daytona 500, where we saw Seth Cole take the win. After the field kind of got separated a couple of times. It was a 4-car battle for the win there. The Ford 400 we already talked about 3 times. It's kind of in almost every other category, some way or another. The Hollywood Casino 400, the Chase Kansas race, which was one of the better races of the season. The Talladega Chase race, Good Sam Roadside Assistance 500. And then the Samsung Mobile 500, which was the first Texas race of the season, not the Chase one. Those are the nominees for Race of the Year. And that is it. Those are your choices, so just make sure to personal message me your votes. And I know it's a lot to type. Just do what you can and just keep it in order so I know what you're voting for, or just put what you're voting for, and I should know, but just try to keep it in order the best you can. And like I said, just vote 1 per each thing. And whenever I'll put it in the description how long you guys have to vote. I'll probably wait till like Friday of this week. That would be, let's see, what's the date going to be? Friday will be the 15th. So Friday will probably be the day I probably will close the voting, and then I will get the results and have that up for the weekend. And just letting you guys know, signups will be coming soon, since this will be up and done. Nationwide will be first. I don't know the date yet. I'm looking toward within the next couple of weeks of doing signups, so keep that in mind. But thanks for watching, guys. Sorry if I took enough time out of the way to do this, but I appreciate you guys voting for the award ceremony for Season 4 of the Mountain Dew Race Series, and it was a season to remember. And yeah, so make sure to personal message me your votes, and I will get back to you guys and let you guys know who won each one. But thanks for watching the award ceremony for Season 4 of the Mountain Dew Race Series. I'm Dylan, and I will see you guys very soon for the results.